Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'll focus on this question, isometric drawing. I took this question from the DBE mid-year exam from 2025. So before I waste more time, I'll just get into it. So I'll start off by reading the instructions and then I'll start with my isometric drawing. Okay, so we are given the front view and the top view of a gauge block. All right, so we are given the two views there. The top view is the one at the top, and this view here at the bottom is the front view. Okay, we are also given the position of point P on the drawing sheet. Point P is there. Instructions: using scale 1:1, convert the orthographic views of the gauge block into a sectional isometric drawing on cutting plane SS. Okay, so it means I'll have to draw a sectional isometric drawing. All right, that word sectional is very important, so that's the reason why I'm highlighting this part. So that means I'll have to draw this object cut. Obviously I'll have to follow the cutting plane, which is cutting plane SS. We are given the cutting plane, it's there from the front view, so it means I'll have to cut off this portion. All right, whatever that's remaining, I'll have to draw it, and then also draw in the cut surfaces, add hatching lines to indicate that those parts were cut off. Right, okay. Use P as the starting point and lowest point of the drawing. Show all construction, no hidden detail is required. Okay, so now it means I can start with my isometric drawing. It's not just an isometric drawing, but a sectional isometric drawing, because I'll have to cut off something. All right, okay, so my focus will be on the cutting plane as well as I draw the isometric drawing. All right, but now I'll start at the starting point, which is point P. From the top view, point P is right there, and then from the front viewpoint P is there. So as you can see here, I'm not cutting anything because the cutting plane is not around this section, so it means I'll just draw an isometric drawing for this section without cutting anything. So I'll start at point P, and if you check, point P from the top is right there. All right, so I'll start with the height. So the height of that part or portion is 48. So it means from point P going up, I'll measure 48, right? Okay. So just draw a line construction line there. Because I'm using scale 1:1, I'll just measure 48 there. Mark a point. And then I'll just extend this point up and also the height there. Also draw line going up that way, like that. Okay, so the height is 48, and then the width it's 29 we are given there, so it means I'll just measure 29 there. Mark a point. I'll just draw that vertical line. So I can just draw the rectangle right away, like that. Okay, this rectangle, it's this rectangle here. All right, as you can see there, and I also have that small rectangle inside. And if you check, this is a hole. How do I know that? Because when I look at the top view, I have hidden detail lines there, so it means this section is a hole, right? Okay, so this hole starts at 10, so it means the height from the base there going up is 10. So just measure 10 going up. Mark a point there, draw a light construction going that way. Okay, and the depth of the hole is 10 as well, but from here going in it's 9. So on that line I'll measure 9. Mark a point, draw a light construction line going up. Okay, the height of that hole is 28, so I'll measure 28 there. 28 is there. Draw a light construction line. the width of the hole is 10. Remember, I'll measure 10 there. Draw a line going down. I can just draw an outline there, outline there. Okay, so this is the hole. So now I have to show the depth of that section. So the depth is 10. All right, so measure 10 there, going up. So just draw a solid line going up there, solid line there. Light construction. So I'll just draw a solid line there. Okay, and then I have to show the depth of the hole there. So let me see if the 10 will be okay. So it means I'll just draw a solid line there. Okay, so what's next? So I'm done with this section. As you can see, this is a flat surface and it creates like a T shape right there. So it means I cannot draw a solid line there. It means I have to draw lines going out from this side going down and also on the other side going up, right? Because if you check, this is a T shape and it means it's a flat surface, right? Okay, so remember the total width of that part is 40. So I'll just draw a line up, a line down. Okay, so obviously I have a line there and a line going up. So since the width of that part is 10, so it means this side I have how much? 15 this side. Okay, so measure 15 going down, and then the total width it's 40. I'll mark a point up there. Okay, then draw a line going up, and then the depth there, it's 12. From the front view we are given that it's 12, so I'll mark 12 there. Okay, and then draw a construction line. As you can see, now I do have that T-shape surface there, so I can just draw it in using solid lines, like that. I'll just draw that in just like that. Okay, and then obviously now I have to go down, so just draw construction lines there and also on the other side, and then here let me see something. Okay, this is a slanted line, it's fine, so it means I can just draw an edge here down to the base like that, and on the other side I'll just draw a vertical line like that. Okay, what else? Okay, so now if you check, there's this part, all right, that part will be just down there. It's like a wing, as you can see, all right, but we do not have the same thing on the other side. We only have it on this side, all right. So it's this part here. As you can see, the height of that wing part, it's 15, all right. So it means from here I'll just measure 15 going up, draw a line coming out. Okay, as you can see, it goes out by 20, so it means on this lines I'll just measure 20 like that. I can draw a vertical line there, and then I'll just draw lines going up like that. Okay, so the length is 35. Okay, so it means from here I'll measure 35, going up, okay, then a line going back in. Okay, so remember it's not a rectangle. As you can see, I have that slanted part, alright, and the angle is 45. Are we given the length from here to there? No, we are not given. So it means I'll have to draw an auxiliary view for this section. Yeah, I'll have to draw like a triangle. So I'll just read down here. So I'll just draw a straight line going down. I'll measure how long is it? 20. So it's 20 coming down. So I'm drawing this part, all right? So it's 20 going down. Then I'll just draw a light construction line. So because the angle is 45, so I'll draw a 45-degree line from that point. So I'll just take my 45 set square, draw that line in. Okay, so this is my auxiliary view. I was supposed to draw this. Okay, because I'm looking for this length here, so it means now I can just measure that distance. It's 20, so I'll just mark it there, 20, and then yeah, so I'll just draw a vertical line there, and then I'll just connect those points. So this is the 45-degree line, so obviously it's that line. Let me show you from the top view. It's that line. So obviously now I can just draw in this part just to have the surface. So it means I'll just draw that line in, and also that line there. So as you can see, this is the surface that I was talking about. It's that surface there. Alright, okay, so now we'll just draw the thickness of that section. So I'll just connect those points like that. Okay, so I'm done with this section here. So now I'll have to try and draw whatever that's next. So if you check from the front view, I have that 12. That 12, remember, is this part, all right? And then now there's a line going down at an angle, all right? So the height of that part is 29. Okay, so I can just measure that 29 for now. So from the base there going up, it's 29. You can mark a point there and draw a line going up. Okay, I'll also extend that line there. Okay, so now the height here, obviously we do have it. It's this section, is this part, but now we don't know what's the length from this point to this point, right? Like this width, we don't have it, so it means I'll have to try to draw an auxiliary view again for this part. So the angle is 60, so I'll do the same thing. I can just draw a line. I'll use that line, and then going down I'll measure 24. So the 24 is there. Draw a line. Why I measured 24? I don't have to measure 24 because that 24 is it's for the cutting plane. So I'll have to minus the 29 from the 48. Okay, 29. Okay, so 48 minus 29, it's 19. Okay, so it means from here to this line is 19, not 24. Okay, I'll measure 19 there. 19 is there. So just draw a line like that. Okay, And then now I'll have to draw that 60 degrees line. All right, so I'll take my 30 by 60, slide it to this point here, and draw a line to that line there. Okay, and then draw a line going up. Okay, perfect. So I was looking for this length. All right, so I'll just take my ruler and measure that gap there. So it's 11 on my ruler, so it means I'll just measure 11 there, mark a point, then draw a vertical line going down. So it means now I can just connect these points. All right, so just draw a line like that. Okay, so this line is this line at an angle. Okay, so the length there, what's the length? Are we given? Okay, we are not given, but I'll use this length here, which is 84 from where this object starts. All right, so it's 84, and please be careful. So if you check, I'll have to draw a line going down there, and then because this section is on the same line as this one, so I'll just draw a line using my 30 by 60 from that point there. All right, going up. So the 84 will start from here. All right, because it starts from point P going up. So point P is on this line, so I'll have to measure that 84 from here going up. Okay, so I'll measure there 84, mark a point, then I can just draw a light construction line going up. Okay, so the length that I was looking for, which is this part there, I have it now. It's this length here, so it means I can just draw a line. Okay, and then from there obviously it goes up by 40. So from that point there, I'll just draw a line going up, project that point up and measure 40. That's the width of that section, so it's 40. So I'll just draw a light construction line for now. I want to see this point. Okay, so when I project, this point is inside, so it means I can just draw a line there, a solid line. Okay, and then I can just connect this part like that. Okay, so now I'll have to try to draw this section, that circular part. All right, it's like a cylinder. If you look at the top view, as you can see, it goes out by 15 millimeters. So this part is for this circular part. All right, I hope it makes sense. So I'll have to start by drawing the center lines, né? But you have to be careful because the center lines, they're just there. They're not on the same line as this section. All right, okay, so far I have this point on my drawing. It's this point. All right, as you can see, I have a line going up, but that line, it's not really there because this line is here. It's far outside, not inside. All right, so I'll measure 24 going up. So take my ruler there. I'll measure 24 going up. I'll mark a point there, but now from that point is here. All right, so now I'll have to draw a line going out. All right, by 15. So I'll take my 30 by 60, draw a line going out, and then I'll measure 15 because that circular part, it goes out by 15 millimeters. So I'll just mark there. So it means my center line will start from this point going up. All right, so I can just draw in that center line. All right, so I'll just take my 30 by 60 I'll draw center line there. Okay, and then now what's the radius of this circle? It's 34. So for the vertical center line, I'll have to measure 34 from that point going up. So 34 is there. So I'll just draw a vertical center line. Like that. Okay. So now I'll have to draw a square. Alright. I'll have to draw a square for this circle. Alright, so I'll try to draw a square. So obviously I'll measure 34 going up. 34 going up, mark a point there. So I have to extend the center line. Okay, so I'll just draw a light construction line there and also here, like that. Okay, and then I'll measure 34 going down as well. And remember, I have to draw a square of 34, which a square of 64, not 64, 68. So for now here I'll measure 34 because 34 is half of 68. Okay, and then I'll draw a line going up. I have to extend the center line. .34 there, going up at the point, then draw a light construction line like that. Okay, so this is the square. All right, I hope it makes sense. So from there to there it's 68, 68, 68, 68, but from the center line going down it's 34, 34, and also there 34, 34, but this is a square. So now in order for me to draw that part, remember, don't forget the cutting plane. It means that quarter of the circle is cut off, so it means I will not draw anything there. All right, I'll only draw this section at the bottom. All right, okay, so but I will have to add the construction lines here for an isometric circle. So I'll just draw a line from that point to the opposite point like that passes through the center, and then I'll draw a line from there to there. So that's where I'll put my compass to draw the arc up there. Okay, and then let me just draw this line, even though I will not need this line. So if I had a circle here at the bottom like an arc, I was going to put my compass there to draw that arc. All right, okay, so I'm done with the isometric circle construction. So now it means I can draw whatever that's remaining. All right, because remember I have to cut off this part. All right, so I'll draw this half circle this side. So that means I'll have to take my compass. I'll put my compass there to there. Okay, and then now I'll have to draw that arc there at the bottom. So I'll put my compass there. Okay. Just like that. Okay, and then now we have a straight line to that corner there, so I have to draw a straight line there. is a vertical line as well to the center line, like that. Okay, so it's this line and that line. So I'm not drawing this arc because that part is cut off, so I'll just leave it as it is. Okay, and then now I'll have to draw in the depth, so it must go up here like that, and then drop that point like that. Okay, and then this section I'll just draw a construction line going up. Okay, what's the length from here to there? So it's 40 plus 15, so that means it's 55. Okay, so I'll measure 55 here. 55, 55, 55. 55 is there. So obviously it's that corner there. So I can just draw a vertical line there. And then draw a line here as well. Like that. Okay. So now I think it's better for me to draw in this hexagon. Alright. Because obviously I'll have to draw it here and then I'll project all the points up, alright, to show the depth of this section. Alright, but obviously I'll have to draw an auxiliary view. We are given that the sides are 26, so I'll just draw a hexagon here, an auxiliary view. So I'll start with center lines. I'll just draw in center lines there. Okay, then I'll measure 26 on my compass. Okay, an arc there, arc there. Okay, so I'll just draw like something like a square around the hexagon.